It's the last race in a grueling triple header. The Italian Grand Prix at Monza and the Tifosi are out in force. It's round 14 of the season then. After this, it's a 2-week break before the Russian Grand Prix. A further 2-week break just to give the teams an extra little rest before we go over to Turkey. Another 2-week break, and then it's the United States Grand Prix. A week off, and then Mexico, Brazil, and rumoured to be Qatar will form the final triple header. Saudi Arabia and Abu Dhabi round out the season in early to mid-December. In terms of the championship, it now swings the way of Max Verstappen, 224.5 points, to Lewis Hamilton on 221.5 points. 3 points, still the gap, but it's swung the other way. Bottas is ahead of Lando Norris there as well. Sergio Perez battling with Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz as well. Gasly, Ricciardo and Alonso sort of in a middle field battle to complete the top 10. Further down on the board, Esteban Ocon has 44 points, Sebastian Vettel 35, Yuki Tsunoda and Lance Stroll still on 18, George Russell on 13, Latifi 7, Raikkonen 2, Giovinazzi 1, and no points on the board for Mick Schumacher, Nikita Mazepin or Robert Kubica. In terms of the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes leads the way now, 344 points, 0.5 to Red Bull's 332.5. A 12-point swing in the title, it could mean life or death for this Constructors' Championship battle. Ferrari have taken a big swing now, 11.5 points ahead of McLaren, had a miserable run last time out. Alpine are now still just 6 points ahead of AlphaTauri. Aston Martin are all on their own in 7th place. Williams have taken a big swing to confirm nearly 8th in the championship, depending how the rest of the season goes. Alfa Romeo still only on 3 points, and Haas no points on the board at all for the poor American team. It's the 2021 Italian Grand Prix, and this is the second practice session. Let's take a look around Monza, a 3.599 mile circuit, 11 corners. Been on the calendar now ever since the beginning, only missed one race, and it's celebrating its 100th year. Starting at the exit of the Parabolica, it's an important step to get a good exit and carry the speed all the way down as you start the lap, down towards turn 1, the Rettifilio from 8th gear at 350 kilometers an hour, brake down all the way to 2nd gear at 90 kilometers an hour. Tight exit as well as you approach the Cur de Grande as well. Rise up again at the exit of turn 3. You're doing 7th gear, 295. Before you come into the Dalla Roggia chicane, you brake from 8th gear, 330 kilometers an hour, down into 3rd gear at 130 kilometers an hour. Rising up to the 2 Lesmos then, the Curva di Lesmo 1, 5th gear, 200 kilometers an hour. The 2nd Lesmo slightly banked on the way in as well, 6th gear, 270. Rising now down the straight with the DRS open as well. You reach maximum once again, all the way 8th gear, 305 kilometers an hour as you approach the braking zone. Once again into the Ascari chicane, down into 5th gear, 240 at the exit. Down the back straightaway now towards the Parabolica. You have no DRS, you're relying completely on ERS as you come down. Once again, 8th gear, 340 miles an hour, down, brake, 6th gear, 270 kilometers. Ride the exit as well of the Parabolica. Don't go over the white line or your lap time will be deleted. And that is a blast around the Temple of Speed. And we are all set to go for the second practice session for the 2021 Italian Grand Prix here at Monza. A fantastic historic circuit as well, celebrating its 100th, yes, 100th anniversary. And this 3.6 mile circuit as well, locating all the way around the Royal Park of Monza as well. And this has hosted such legendary corner names: the Retafilio, the Curta Grande, Dalla Roggia, Lesmos, the Ascari, and Alboreto Parabolica. The Retafilio, though, down at turn number 1 last year. Gasly versus Albon as well, making contact as well. Albon no longer in Formula 1 until next year. Hit the Curta Grande round the outside as well. Alonso versus Vettel, repeating the move they did in 2011. Alonso going onto the grass this time instead of Vettel. And at the Ascari, after the red flag, Lance Stroll right round the outside of then the McLaren, Carlos Sainz. Stroll would drop back late in the race. Carlos Sainz will finish second in one of only the 2 appearances on this track where the race has been decided in less than a second. In terms of the tyre compounds, it's the soft C4, the medium C3, and the hard is the C2. Wet weather would be blue for the full wets and green for the intermediates as well. Lombardy welcomes all the teams and drivers this weekend as well. That's where we are. Lombardy in Monza as well, in the beautiful Royal Park. The teams are ready. The drivers are ready. We've already had a qualifying session. Now it's time for sort of a warm-up for the main event or the sprint race. It's quite hard to tell, Ian Burge alongside me in the commentary box, because no one actually knows what's going to happen.
Does anybody know what the point is of this?
No. It's a session that's useless, really.
You've not been able to touch the cars because they've been in parc fermé. And then all of a sudden you're allowed to do what you like to them, which has been quite good for Ferrari. I said there was a miss on that engine. They've had to change to oldie worldy engine number 1, which has done a heck of a lot of miles, because they couldn't actually find out where the miss was coming from.
Don't blame them, actually. So power unit 1 is now in at the Ferrari. I think, was it Charles Leclerc you said? It was Leclerc.
Just to prove how lucky Charles was on that laps, those laps he did. He was also complaining about pull to the left.
Yes, he was on the qualifying runs, yeah.
Yes, because of the fact that his brake cylinders were only working on one side at the front.
That would explain a lot, actually, why he was so slow in terms of the qualifying. He starts the sprint race further down on the grid. What was it?
It's a wonder he did as well as he did, considering the problems that he had.
There is the man who starts on pole position for the sprint race, though, later on today. That is going to be Valtteri Bottas, and unfortunately for Valtteri as well, he has a multiple grid penalty for taking 4 units as well. He starts at the back of the main race on Sunday. The group chat saying as well, Synthel says, hello, how do you do a full lap like that in replay? Oh, on the F1 game, well, you go to the end screen, so you back out, you end the session, and then you let the graphics load up with all your lap times, and then you can press one of the back buttons, and it'll say replay, and you can go on board and do everything and change the graphics over as well. Max Verstappen is playing hook and engineer at the moment as well. At the back of the Red Bull garage, he's having fun this weekend as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he seems very relaxed. Do you know that I feel that you get the best driving out of him when he's a bit more relaxed. He was a bit tense yesterday. Clearly was a bit miffed when he got out the car.
Yes, yeah, he was.
After qualifying. Didn't seem to like what had happened, but he's got to take the rough with the smooth. I mean, Lewis even said that he had a bad day yesterday. Here they go.
Green light is on. The session is underway. So who's going to head out to the track first as well? I'll tell you what, big kick of dust has just roughed up the commentary box. It's gone right up my nose as well. So it sent me into a right tears at the moment as well. Let's take a look at the rest of the group chat as well. Synthel says, because I don't see the other screen display things. Yeah, it's a replay mode on the F1 game, and you can turn everything off as well. That's how I'm able to do the lap attacks. And I've also got multiple ones all the way around.
What does Beth mean by saying that she's so sorry to Dude in the Blue Suit for last week?
Oh, when she accidentally put him in a timeout for 300 seconds. Yeah, so Dude in the Blue Suit says, where is it? Oh, I can't see it. The sprint race is too late for me in Australia tonight, so hopefully P2 is exciting. Unlikely, no one's heading out there. Latifi, Schumacher and Vettel, the cars out there at the moment. Synthel says, when I go to replay on the F1 game, it's in replay for like 10 seconds. No, right, okay, so you do your lap, and then you end the session, and it will come up with all the times and replays. And before you select to go back to the main menu, have a look at the bottom right. It will tell you exactly if you want to replay your fastest lap or replay the entire session. And then you can skip through and get to the bits you want and replay it all. It's only in time attack mode that you can do that, the time trials. But there, it's also very good. I'll show you a tutorial in some point as well in the season. Further on as well, there's the Sky commentary box. They haven't changed the headsets yet, but they've changed the mic shields, I've noticed as well. They're all like ours now as well, if you noticed, just slotted on.
Well, Amazon delivered.
Yeah, they did. They must have delivered as well for that. Going down as well, Beth says, yes, Cynthia, you are Monza Demas when your predictions this round. Yeah, but Cynthia's been really good with the predictions. Also, you see the F2 is an interesting race, especially a chaotic race. You've seen the F2 race, I've seen the F2 race. Poor Dan Tickton in a way.
Poor everybody.
Yeah,
you know, but it was pure luck who got to the end of the race. You know, it was
chaos.
It was
chaos.
a prime example of cars that haven't been used since July, drivers that haven't driven them since July, and most of the top lot, right, got
driver
problems.
track is still bust.
Piastri got a little bonus because one of them was demoted. Lundgaard got on the podium because of it, didn't he?
Yes, yeah, Lundgaard got onto the podium. Everyone was swapping and changing around.
Who was it that got demoted?
Oh, I can't remember. Robert Schwartzman had a penalty as well. It could have been Schwartzman. There you go. Beth saying, sorry about last week. And June is saying it's okay. Beth saying, I've just finished watching A Bridge Too Far, 1977. So I'm a top diddly dandy and a little bit taddy bally ho. Oh, was it A Bridge Too Far? That's a great film, isn't it?
Yeah, you watched it with your granddad when you were younger. And
Baby more like, had to be, surely.
Yeah.
Sure, it's not David, that one.
It could have been David, actually.
Considering the, what was it, one?
The point is,
might have been a baby.
The point is, my dad was an engineer with the paratroopers during the war and was actually at that conflict, as well as he was a lot of the others.
I seem to remember you saying as well, didn't he say that
Arnhem.
that's wrong, that's wrong, that's right, that's right, that's wrong?
Yeah, he did. He used to point out what was right and what was wrong, what did happen, what didn't happen.
Moving further down as well, Beth also saying, apparently in the end of the bridge runs off with Jennifer Aniston. Yeah, well, Jennifer Aniston won't run off with anybody these days, even Ross from Friends. Also unsure what happened to Catherine Zeta-Jones' grandpa, not more importantly, her...
More important, his beret.
Oh, beret. I can't read.
Well, a lot of... it was chaotic, actually, and they didn't know the Panzer Division were there in the forest. They didn't have the... know-how to find out at that time, or what do you call it, information?
Yeah.
And they did fantastic. You know, they fought like hell, and when they did retreat, right, my dad tells the story about the fact that they tried to travel by night towards the American lines, towards the Americans, and that they heard someone coming, so the three of them hid in a ditch. And obviously it was dark and there was hiding. Then all of a sudden this big Scottish voice boomed out, "What the hell are you lot doing hiding down there?" And it was their sergeant major who then took charge and got them into the safety of the American lines. So that's really.
Beth asking, does the bridge still exist?
Yeah, actually the bridge was. Replaced about 20 to 25 years ago, and the old bridge is there as a monument.
Ah. Yes, I think
I think it was.
I'm just thinking about that. Yeah.
I think Prince Charles opened the new bridge.
I'm trying to think as well if there's a piece of the old bridge at Duxford, if we've seen it.
No, that's the
Berlin Wall.
The Berlin Wall.
Yeah. That's also
all my kids have a picture of themselves stood on the Berlin Wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I didn't do what that
What you don't know
MP
is that they bounced when I pushed them off it.
one thing as well.
Rear locking is very low, so let's go brake balance 1 click rearward.
And Schumacher there has just gone top, 126.297. Yeah, at least we did do what that MP did and Photoshop himself into chiseling away at the Berlin Wall. Yeah, we were actually stood on the side of it. Schumacher's actually now locked up.
Yeah, if you go to the Imperial War Museum, Duxford in Cambridge, and you walk about a mile and a half down the runway to the
Hangar
American
6,
War Museum, Hangar 6. There is quite a nice piece of the Berlin Wall there with a Black Hawk hanging over the top of you, and you're underneath a B-52.
Yeah, that's always very terrifying. It's got to be very securely held in place as well. I had a message off someone actually yesterday who said that they'd seen this image of one of these celebrities who would...
press and hold, overtake for 5 seconds. Overtake for 5 seconds.
That's Perez. They're just testing the overtake.
I was going to say, that's not Mazepin.
No, that's Mazepin now on the circuit. He's top on a 125.977. Yeah, someone who had metal hooks implanted into his skull and hung gold chains off them instead of hair. Gold chains. Where is it?
In what?
Just a celebrity who'd done that. Just
well, you get some very weird celebrities.
Let's have a look. It is...
I've known a few myself.
Rapper has gold chains hanging from hooks surgically implanted into his head.
Well, if he
rapper
wants,
dancer.
if he wants to risk his life, I know. It's they do actually screw screws into your head to keep when you've got a cracked skull.
Yeah, to get it back in. Yeah. He said in a video, the truth is that I want to do something different because I see that everyone dyes their hair. I hope no one copies me now. He's had gold change put in. It's unbelievable.
So just down 2 clicks brake balance to replicate race start. Down 2 clicks brake balance.
So that's Ricardo doing practice starts.
Apparently, Wind of Change was written to the music of one of their other songs and was written originally on the back of a fag packet. Which was really strange because the rumour is that the Volkswagen Beetle, Porsche was given the pictures of on the back of a fag packet of what Adolf Hitler wanted it to look like. It was a great con, right? It was supposed to be the people car. It was done to raise money for the German war machine and. Basically, do you remember those staff cars? Those green open-top staff cars that they used to use, not the Mercedes-Benz ones, but they were made by Volkswagen, and their chassis was exactly the same.
So Daniel, in pit lane, we're going to do start practice at the pit exit. No
chassis
point find,
of the
2 burnouts,
Volkswagen,
and a first gear launch. You can have recharge off and go straight into pushing. Okay, Roger.
As a spot, Ricardo doing a practice
supposed to be
start.
the people car,
Yeah.
Anyway, Formula One. Martin's on the. Where is he? Is it
Ascari?
Ascari? Yeah.
Actually, where he's standing is actually the part of the mini oval section of the track as well. Like you loop back round on the infield section as well, which is a very tight little chicane. I tried that once when I was in London at a gaming convention as well. There was a motorsport section as well. They had a full VR headset with realistic controls for cars. That was quite good, going up the side of a mountain. And then they had a race car experience where you got in a simulator like a Formula One car and went around the infield track at Monza.
Only idiots who work for Top Gear try and drive up a mountain.
Yes, you just drive.
In a Range Rover.
It's very, and also, nobody seems to twig. It's more dangerous going up a mountain and in high speed because as soon as you rise over the crest, you're going to oversteer into the wall. It's better to drive down a mountain in a fast car because it's easier to control the brakes.
Talking about my dad, when he was in India, he managed to have to swerve and go. He went over a mountain road about 60 foot to the thing below. So
I forgot about that.
Yeah, some of the stories he used to tell were amazing. And actually, after he died, the commanding officer sent a nice little letter saying how amazing it was that someone had got done so much during the war at such a young age. Ended up in Singapore and ended up in the Australian Army. Like we've said to Beth before, he worked and lived in Newcastle, which is about 40 miles from Sydney, and I believe my sister went to Newcastle to see what it was like when she went over there. I'm not sure. I don't think Kellyanne did.
I know I saw the photographs that Carol sent over as well. Yeah.
So this weekend, the new Bond film is being plugged by Aston Martin.
Oh, heavily.
I don't know why. Do you know why?
I don't
What's the link
know.
between James Bond and Aston Martin?
I don't know.
think they're taking advantage.
Oh, very good. You've been working on that one, hasn't it?
Yeah, for about 14 seconds.
Well, they've got a couple of cars in there in this film as well, Aston Martin.
And Jess, right? If you see the trailer to the film, Jess Hawkins, if you see the Land Rover jumping over that's Jess driving that. Who is Aston Martin's reserve driver this weekend.
She's not.
Norris's lap time's around the 26.0. I suspect he's at a higher fuel load than us.
That's Perez's radio. Yeah, she's not wearing her beanie hat this weekend because it's too hot. I almost didn't recognise her.
Yeah. Yeah, she's usually a bit like hide who I am.
Face mask and the beanie hat, but then again, the beanie hat's become so iconic, you just know it's Jess anyway.
Like if you ever see the boots, you know it's Frederica. Yeah.
And as well, the shoes that Lawrence Barotto wears as well, or the multicoloured shoes he's got. The Channel 4 reporter.
If anybody
and
got,
F1 TV
if anybody, have we managed to get the thing working yet?
the driver tracker.
The driver tracker.
No, it's not working. I don't know. Look. It's just not working at all. That's 3 sessions in a row. That's
Have you
very
paid the
unusual.
bill?
No, this is not the usual
You haven't
bill.
paid the bill.
I have paid the bill, but no, this isn't the usual bill. This comes from the timing screens we're using now, apart from the laptop and the iPad. So on the computer monitor and the monitor directly below the
How's the balance,
television,
Checo?
that is coming.
Yeah, I'm just looking. I think I can pass him next lap.
So Perez going to box this lap. He's top at the moment.
Our resident Australian German said that it was called the Kubelwagen.
Was it?
Wagen.
Oh.
The Kubelwagen, because obviously the W is a V. It's an
And-
extended V.
Yeah. So yeah, the driver track is just bust, and it comes from FOM, so it's pure FOM feed we get up here, and it's just bust this weekend as well. But since I'm saying, did we see F2? Yep, we did. Saw the results as well, and Theo Pourchaire with another great victory. He only turned 18 3 weeks ago, and he's already got 2 Formula 2 victories. Alfa Romeo are looking at him to be put in to the team as well, but he is a bit too young.
Who?
Theo Pourchaire. They want to put him straight into Formula 1. But
Do you mean the lad who, when he had his first
Yeah.
race, I turned around and said he'll be a world champion one day?
Yeah, you did, didn't you? Back at
You could
Formula
see
3
it.
Mugello, yeah.
Yeah.
Even before. Best
We used to have a manager called Grimsby called George Kerr.
Yeah.
And George was amazing. He could tell how far you would get in your career just by watching you for about 3 minutes with a ball.
Oh, yeah.
And he usually got it right.
He did several times.
Yeah, made a lot of money for this club.
So Beth saying sponsor message as well. I need to get closer for that.
A
What was that?
sponsor message.
Zani Palau flowing.
Zany
fling.
pillow, flowing, filling. These 3 words say all you need to know about Carlosoft. The shampoo for smooth and frizz-free operators.
It's so good you'll never need that vermouth ever again.
Yeah,
And
well, your mother loves vermouth, and and I miss Fisher Keller and his boxes of red wine.
Oh yeah, no, the beer as well. At the back of the garage that he used to produce as well, especially
Have
red wine.
engine
Right
6,
there.
position
Fisher
1.
Keller
please.
decided
engine
one
6,
day-
position 1 before you open the lap.
That's for Verstappen.
Giancarlo Fisher Keller decided one day that he would want to become a wine merchant, and so bought a vineyard. And actually, his wine was really nice in the end.
Have we
Took
ever
a few
had that
years.
wine?
Yes, I have.
I
yeah.
thought we've had that wine, yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. Perez top 124.835 at the board. Junior Blue saying, I'll get put in a timeout for a sponsor message. Not at all.
Talking of the
Beth might, but I don't know.
Beth can't do that to herself.
No, she
Can't
can't.
time herself out.
I don't know, actually. I haven't tried that. Beth, can you time yourself out? Don't actually do
Don't
it.
actually do it.
Just have a look and see if you can. I don't know. I don't
So,
believe you
talking
can.
of the F2 race this morning, there was an interesting thing at the start, which every driver seems to forget, even though they're told in their driver briefings, right? The grid has a runoff on the right-hand side.
Okay, and they're like 2 laps.
And two
no
of them got
overtake,
penalised.
No red button.
For going into that at the start of the race. Whereas in Formula One, it's nearly always been the case that has been where you push the cars.
Yeah. It's been the start of the F2, the F1 race later on. You will see them darting towards the pit wall.
So this weekend, you've got to realise that the governors doing this race are going to penalise that. And yet it's something that's happened for years.
I'm just trying to have a look at the F1
You know,
the event notes.
Mazepin did that to Schumacher.
Yes,
last
time out, yeah.
weekend. Everything's supposed to be rosy between them two.
He had to go at him in qualifying.
Yeah, and they still seem to be arguing. I don't think you'll solve that without one of them leaving the team. And there's one of them's dad virtually owns the team.
It will,
because Haas doesn't want to put any more money in. Gene Haas is like Mazepin's dad is a billionaire, and although he still likes Formula One, I don't think it's where he's putting all his effort.
No, he's definitely not, is it? Dude, you are entitled to as many free plugs as you can carry, says Beth as well. It's really going up my nose as well, to this dust in the
Well, if you
sound
do
box.
want any tools or electrical plugs or things like that, Gene Haas is the one to go to because, that's what Gene Haas's company did. They were a DIY company, weren't they, providing tools and things?
Yeah, and I tell you what, he's having a terrible couple of years as well. His NASCAR team, the Stewart Haas Racing, isn't working out so well as well, and now in Formula One, the backfield of the team. I think Gene's getting just a little bit sick and tired of motorsport. I believe, and that's sad actually because he's got a good one. He's looking for a partner.
Let me know how to remove the DRS beeps.
Copy that, stand by.
I think that was Esteban Ocon.
Okay, Esteban, we need fail A 1-0, okay. Fail A 1-0, okay.
Ocon there.
So he's got a problem.
Seem to have a problem. Fail safe, the fail safe one button.
Yeah.
That's limp home mode, isn't it?
Yeah, so he's slow. We can't tell if he's slow on the track.
Because we haven't got the driver tracker.
And it's bust on the iPad as well. I tried.
You tried on the iPad and
did.
it's not working?
No, I can get the race control messages up though, so I can still see those.
Race control messages. Message from Ocon. My car is bashed. Yes.
He's gone. He was slow in the first sector, but sector 2 he's done a personal best, so he looks okay. 29.
You know what they say? David Essex used to say, hey, rock and roll. Ocon.
Verstappen goes fastest on a 1:23.754, so he's going quicker. It's Red Bull 1-2.
This pace is good. Max did his second lap at 23.8. So his tyres are 5 or 6 laps fresher than ours.
My jumper, my T-shirt.
Oh, the surf.
Right.
Yeah.
I see you've listened to what Beth said and just tried to ask your mother. She told me you look like. She turned around. She says you will. I put out because you.
Oh, and Bottas.
You look like a clown because you are a clown.
Bottas has locked up coming into the Della Rosa chicane and has jumped violently over the bumps as well, and almost over there as well. So that's not great. Beth jokingly put at Jats Verstappen. He's tied up for 300 years. It's a joke, but yeah.
Do you know, talking of that, all the comments about our shirts yesterday made me think about Tony Down, who I went to school with, who, when you saw him out at nightclubs, he'd be wearing all these outrageous clothes. And 2
seconds for stopping radio.
Engine 14, engine 1-4, position 2. Position 2.
They're just getting ready for the sprint.
Checo last lap at 24.2.
They're just getting ready for the sprint race at the moment.
And every time everybody saw him, they just went, hey, tone down.
Damsel.
Tony down. Tone down.
Yeah, I got it. Beth is thinking, Beth said, ugh, Ian,
do you know,
shirts.
Peter Kay gives me these for free. And you lot just
Give him back.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him back. I'm not sharing this car with him.
Oh, gosh, yeah, very funny. And 1:26.050 for Leclerc goes into P3 at the moment. We're only 20 minutes into this session as well. It seems like it's gone quite long, actually.
What do you mean, 20 minutes? It seems like half an hour to me.
It's only been 22 minutes. Not even that yet. 21 minutes and 15 seconds. So
No, he could do with Beth's hair products.
Oh,
Binotto,
yeah.
Okay, fastest lap for Lando was a 25.98, and his final lap 26.4.
Understood. Good. Just in a phase 2, phase 3.
Oh,
Verstappen.
For Max Verstappen.
Not hearing a thing from Max Verstappen. We heard from Danny Ricciardo.
yeah.
The
I was gonna
TV
say
was
that wasn't Verstappen.
The TV was hearing from Verstappen, so presumably that would come
Danny
through in the
Rick
next
had
seconds.
no idea why he did that lap yesterday. He was confused. He said,
Absolutely no idea
Pleased,
exactly
but
what he did.
confused.
Yeah, he was buzzing, but yeah, he's got to do that.
and he
again.
didn't swear once, even
Which
though
is a
'cause
surprise.
he usually does when he's buzzing.
Lando Norris has jumped over at the Retifilia as well down at turn 1.
He actually got a thank you from Rachel Brooks for
Not
not swearing.
Yeah. He then went to the Dutch broadcaster and continued to swear.
Continued
Yeah.
to swear.
Beth saying as well, last off-topic comment, I promise, but I've
So just to give you
discovered.
an idea, there's not many on hard tyre, but that was 3/10 quicker than last lap.
I always spoils the joke, doesn't he, Team Radios? But I've discovered Open All Hours for the first time. Watched 3 episodes so far. Great.
Are you
series.
watching Open All Hours, or are you watching the sequel, which is also one of my
Well-
favourites and has run for quite a few? Still Open All Hours.
Well, she's
But if she's saying
it's Arkwright, yeah.
yeah, did you know that Ronnie didn't actually? That wasn't in the script. Ronnie put that in himself, and the famous thing with the till that snaps your hand off.
Oh yes.
Is because just before in rehearsals for the first episode, the spring broke on the.
It did,
and so they found a spring off a camera that they weren't using and put that in, but it was a very strong. So the first time they used it, it nearly snapped his hand off, and knocked the tin off the top. So they rigged it up so that happens as a joke every time.
It's
you know.
fantastic. It still happens.
And in Still Open All
yeah.
Hours, where Ronnie's died and he's taken over and he's running it with his son
yeah.
or grandson, right? Which is ever so funny. You know, it's still one of the funny shows. And our local newsreader appears in it, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, he did, didn't he? Well, it's a local show, isn't it, for
yeah,
us?
Peter Levy. Well, Peter Levy is the reason it came back because he was friends after doing the news in Leeds all those
Yeah.
years. He was very good friends because he lived near. Well, I can't remember who wrote him. Who wrote Keeping Up? Roy Clark.
Roy Clark. That's
Yeah.
it, yeah.
And they were on the Pennines on the Cat and Fiddle at the cafe there, overlooking the beautiful view. That's a beautiful view for the Cat and Fiddle. You can see all of Manchester in front of you in the valley, can't you? And it's a great view there. And they were having the things, and he said you should bring Open All Hours back, and make Granville the centre of it now that you've lost Ronnie.
It works.
And he says, "Go on," and
They wrote a pilot, didn't they?
they
for
wrote a pilot and sent it to the BBC. And
That was for that 2016.
now what are they on?
Thing, yeah.
Series 8 of
Yeah,
Still Open
yeah.
All Hours.
About 2 a year, isn't it? Now?
Yeah.
About 2 series a year. Yeah. Most of the original casting. But of course, just last thing as well. Look, this is the tandems that Beth leads us on with these. The shop isn't actually a shop in real life. It's a hair salon.
It's a hair salon, yeah.
Yeah.
It always has been.
Always has,
It's changed into the shop very quickly. It's in Doncaster, and there used to be a glass at the end of the street where the Still Open. It used to be a glass manufacturer. It used to do things like windscreens and things like that at the end of the street.
That's why you always had the smashes.
Yeah, but it was also it's just a normal street, and they were lucky enough to not only get the shopkeeper, but about 4 of the houses in the street allowed them to use them for things like Gladys Emmanuel and things like that.
It's a great series as well. They all make a reappearance in the new series along with some
Well,
others.
yeah, Roy also wrote Last of the Summer Wine, and It's still open all hours. It's turned into a sequel of Last of the Summer Wine, really. Most of the people that are still alive from Last of the Summer Wine
It's a
appear in
slow,
that.
yeah, it's a slow comedy like it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a slow, lovely comedy.
yeah. Not like it's a laugh. It's not. It's
Have
not
you
laugh a minute,
noticed,
is it? Yeah.
everybody, have you noticed that Red Bull seemed to be pushing to be top in this practice 2 session? Now, you've got to remember that these engines aren't Friday engines.
No, these are the race
Or
ones now.
first time in for a Saturday. These are the same engines that we used yesterday
Yeah, this
for
is.
qualifying and the practice yesterday.
Yeah.
So, you're putting a lot of strain getting yourself top just for the sake of it, right? I think if you look at the others that did well yesterday,
We've got a yellow.
They're actually holding back a bit, aren't they?
We've got a yellow on the track somewhere, and it's a I don't know where. Can't see it at the moment. Not too
Well, if
sure
we had a
what.
driver tracker, Josh.
It's a red flag now.
Oh yeah, we've got a red.
And
It's-
where's this? Oh, it's Carlos Sainz
Carlos.
with a big off. And that's an Ascari, so he's dropped it at the
That
exit.
looks like he's bounced in
Into the wall, yeah.
He's suddenly gone to the left, bounced in and bounced off the wall.
Now,
So if we see a replay, because he's
That
completely
front-
smashed in his front nose.
that's a weird one at Ascari.
Yeah,
That
that looked
front-
like a big impact, actually.
Yeah, let's listen.
Massive crash.
Massive crash.
Yeah,
I said it
massive.
was a big impact. And look at the marks.
The main gains straight line
Oh, on
speed
the-
in the tour was
That's Bottas radio.
Yeah, but we'll look at the marks that are
It's
on the. Yeah, if you look at the halo on the left-hand side,
Yeah.
there's all marks on the top of it.
Has that rolled? Has that rolled?
I'm not sure.
Are you okay?
I don't think so. Doesn't seem to be, and the shark fin seems to be in place, and so does the camera. So
Copy.
can we have a replay?
Yeah, that's
He's
a
getting out. Let's have a replay.
He's winded though. You can tell.
Yeah,
He's
it's-
looking
it's
at the
a
car,
severe impact.
and that the front of the car, the entire wing complex has come off, and even the monocoque seems damaged as well. It's incredibly
floor-
closely ripped.
Look, on the floor, it looks like he went in there,
He's touched the gravel, hit the
hit
wall,
the wall.
and just kamikazed round.
Yeah.
So that must have been, what, a 720, maybe even a 1080-degree spin. That is a long, long spin there. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look at it then. Down in towards Ascari. So you drop down now into 4th gear. Drops the exit. Big hit into the wall and does kamikaze round. So he gets on the accelerator at the exit of Ascari. The car loops round, hits centerized into the barrier.
The marks on the thing were already there. The marks on the halo were already there, so that's just an irrelevance.
That's a very unusual wing exit as well. It's more similar to the hit that Hamilton had in 2009. It's sort of like that initial whack into the barrier, and it's spun him round. And he's winded a
I
bit,
think
yeah.
it was the old thing of right rear on the painted surface.
Felix asking who's crashed. I missed it. It's Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari.
Do you agree that do you think it was the right rear
Yeah.
that touched the
Yes.
the paint of the inside of the curb?
Yeah, and on an acceleration as well. He's just looped it round because it's slippy. It's slippy green paint.
he's
Yeah.
under braking at that point as well.
I want another replay from that from another track angle. Although, is Martin Brundle still down there? Because Martin is at Ascari, so if he's got a replay camera, that'll be great to hear. But
Martin has a sleep between things.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
But-
Alex says he's getting old now and he has to have a sleep between things.
I'll tell you what, though, that's not great news. They've got to rebuild that car before a sprint race.
I can say that because Martin is actually older than me
Yes.
by a year.
Yes, I'm just double checking that. Yeah, so they've got to repair that car before the sprint race. So 30 minutes left on the clock. They want to get that back ASAP.
ASOS.
I know, it's sort of like in the middle there. ASAP.
Do they deliver on a Saturday?
Don't know. Let's take a look at it from a different angle there. Okay, this is still on board. Did he touch the side
Synthol says, Carlos, again.
on the power? I don't think he was anywhere near the gravel. I think he's just dropped it on the exit from that angle.
Look at the rip.
Yeah.
That
Suspension loom's done as well.
the rip on the tyre shows this is a very big downforce track, and he's got a thinner wing than Charles has got. If you look at the wing there, that's quite a thin wing, whereas Charles has got quite a thick wing, hasn't he? This time.
Yeah, Ferrari drivers changing
I
strategies.
mean, they're all small wings, but yeah.
He's just checking the loom now as well, the suspension, seeing what damage it is, because it has punctured the monocoque as well. That's the thing, because it's a very unusual front-looking wing, and if it's punctured the monocoque, that is a complete new car rebuild. So he will not take part, I think, in the sprint if that's the case. They want to get the car back to the pit lane ASAP and get it rebuilt as well. It's thankful, actually, he's done it now, because there's longer to go in terms of the sprint. There's an extra 90 minutes.
The G-force impact indicator must have gone off because it's been taken straight
medical centre,
for a quick scan or
it's a checkup.
Look over, checkup.
And then if he's concussed in any way, he'll be taken to the local hospital, which is around about 20 minutes away from the circuit, located just inside the city, where everybody stays as well. They've got Scoop out there from Bob the Builder by the look of it. Why have they got a digger out there? Why a digger? Is that tyre barrier is not that badly damaged?
Why not a digger? But the thing is, right, it wasn't one of our diggers. Did you notice it? Wasn't JCB?
Wasn't JCB, no, was it?
No.
So red flag out, session stopped. And yeah, Cynthia says Carlos again. He did it in FP3, didn't he? In the Dutch Grand Prix last time out. So same time, different place for
What time
Carlos.
is it anyway?
Oh, the sprint race.
No, now.
Now it is 11:32.
11:32.
Right about the same time he crashed last week, because the times are the same for this practice session. But somebody go back who's got F1 TV. Go back and have a look at the Dutch Grand Prix. When did Carlos crash in FP3? Was it with 30 minutes to go? Poor Carlos. He said, I hope he's okay. He said it hurt. So that's on the radio we haven't got.
I was just thinking, 20 years ago, the planes were taking off from Newark and from Washington and that. Weren't they? They're just taking off. I saw an interesting thing yesterday that they deliberately picked long flights. Like one of them, the 77 was going to American 77 was going all the way to Los Angeles to maximise the amount of fuel on board. To maximise the damage and things like that. And they also picked flights where there wasn't a lot of people on because they didn't want full airliners, because that would meant that they would there'd be more chance of
interceptions
of them being stopped in the task. Luckily, some of them were. Remember, there were 18 went on trial for what went on who tried to hijack other airliners.
Netflix has done a documentary series. We watched a bit of it, didn't we? The first one. It's very powerful.
I was picking up the kids from school, and I was so shocked. My brother, who worked in Chicago and New York, I rushed home and we saw the towers drop. I've seen the whole CBS 4 and ABC 7 coverage from that day, and it was awful, and we must remember them on this day.
6:34 over there right now in New York, of course. It was 8.
Sky Alive all day from there, but Kay Bailey.
There's a wonderful tribute going on right now, isn't there? As there is every year, especially this
because
year.
It's 20 years today.
I think there's a special, if you join us for the
F1 in the next race at from what I remember,
that was a Monza as well, yeah.
Yeah, they had no advertising on the car.
No,
and,
everyone ran
black noses.
Everyone ran black noses. Nobody had anything. And also, in that race, Michael Schumacher was deeply affected, as everybody was, by the accidents and the terrorist attack as well. And he was petrified of there being a big accident down at the Rettifilio. And he went round to every single driver on the grid and said, let's put on a show for everyone. Let's not go fast and crash through turn 1. And everybody was going to do it, bar McLaren. Yeah. The drivers wanted to, but Ron Dennis said, you do that, you're fired.
Yeah, I do remember the controversy of that.
Yeah.
But,
so Murray Walker did it brilliantly. The first 5 minutes of the commentary, he was very slow and very monotone as well. He was bringing it up to the lights, and as soon as the lights went out as well, he was like, so here they come. Are we gonna? He said this. I'm gonna paraphrase. He said, "Are we gonna get a race or not? 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights." And when as soon as he went out, he went go, and just gave it his all.
So Everybody Loves Raymond. Where CBS this morning had Raymond and the guy who played his father being interviewed there, and his real life brother, who is the character Robert in the show, and his partner, the girl.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Just never mind. That's the one part
who
where he
played
sings
Robert
backwards.
in the show. He was at the World Trade Center as a police officer, and unfortunately got killed that day. His brother was, when the first plane hit and the news came through, his brother was actually being interviewed on air on CBS this morning, and that's a weird scenario. And what they did was the character of Robert, they gave him the life in Everybody Loves Raymond that the real Robert would have had. Yeah, marriage and things like that. And they also brought his partner into it. A girl played his partner.
One thing that
we must remember all those some great stories of heroics by the firemen. One lady was told how to get out by a fireman who just then smiled at her and walked up the stairs, and they've never been able to find that fireman again. So, it's very brave firemen, the Port Authority police officers, the normal New York City police, the ambulance crews, and the bravery of the reporters who kept at their post in immense danger to themselves, and some of the heroic things that happened that day. We'll never forget them. I don't forget them every year.
Everybody, not everybody.
And by the way, when we rang my mother to find out about if my brother was okay, she said, it doesn't matter. He's phoned me. He was the first to phone me. He's at home in Surrey.
Yes, yeah. Because, of course, he worked at the World Trade Center as well.
In one of the buildings, one of the outer buildings. 5 or 6 or something like that.
There's a wonderful thing I've been seeing recently as well. There's currently at One World Trade Center, that the new one that was built alongside.
Yeah, because that was built, I believe, where South Tower is. Or,
yes, just alongside it.
North Tower, that area is the memorial garden.
Yeah. With the fountain as well, and the museum is there as well. But as you go up the elevator. Because it's to the observation deck at the top floor 100 as well. There is a wonderful animation that's been created of Manhattan. It's a 360 elevator, and it's got loads of screens around it. And as you go up, New York changes from a farmland into the giant city.
Oh, wow, that sounds good.
And where the World Trade Center was, they do disappear, but there's a brief moment where they disappear under the American flag.
And of course,
Building
5 fell down as well. I think it was 5. Yeah, it was
7.
5.
7, wasn't it?
7.
World Trade Center 7. It burnt down, didn't it?
It was completely...
1, 2, and 7 burnt down.
And
fell down, yeah.
So 3 of the buildings fell down.
And, of course, the Pentagon was attacked, and the White House was nearly... the White House plane landed in a field, didn't it? Because the hijackers got their own plane hijacked by the passengers.
Yeah, the passengers bravely beat into the thing. There's a famous film about it, isn't there?
Yes.
Flight 93. The one that hit the Pentagon, which I think that was American 77, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. And
if you want to cough, I'll mute Mike. Go on.
The pilot of that, his sister was on for the 20th anniversary on the TV, and she was saying that he actually worked at the Pentagon before he was an airline pilot, which was really strange, and but he'd have been killed long before the plane hit the Pentagon, unfortunately.
I do implore you to go and watch the Netflix series of documentaries they've created. They look absolutely brilliant as a wraparound of not just what happened on 9/11, but everything that happened before and after it as well.
CBS did a
Daniel,
2-hour
we can wait 1
documentary
minute,
last
but we'll
night.
just have to cool the car a lot on the formation lap practice.
That's
not a
Ricardo. The
problem.
session has restarted, by the way, but they're just on the right laps right now.
CBS did a 2-hour documentary last night about the way the FBI was how that contributed to the things that the FBI knew that but nobody in their real minds ever thought that's what they would be up to. They were being watched, and it happens all over the world. You can't have 100% 24-hour security on these people.
Yeah,
there's too many of them.
That's where I think that's why the drones have come really in handy, haven't they? Yeah. The drones strikes as well have been big
as in TV
improvement in
production.
war.
Right, we're back underway. We've got pictures. Remember, we're talking nonsense because we've got no driver tracker.
Yeah.
Usually, we're able to tell you things that are
Clutch
happening.
was 1% deep. 1% deep.
That's Ricardo.
Understood.
Yeah, so the clutch wasn't right.
I do feel that the practice 2 on a sprint weekend is nonsense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It is like a warm-up. I've had that said to me by a few people this weekend, actually. Oh,
Yeah.
Ferrari radio.
Hello, Michael.
Just to let you know, Carlos has been cleared or preliminarily cleared, but they will do a further check in 1 hour's time.
Understood. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So that's good news
yeah.
for Carlos.
That was
it looks
FIA
like he'll be
Ferrari,
able to take part in the sprint race. All the drivers are, and I know George was talking about it yesterday, that are treating this as a 2-race weekend. You know,
you got to,
and
haven't you?
as we were saying yesterday, this is the fastest lap you virtually do on the calendar, isn't it?
I'm telling you now, I think this sprint race, which is 18 laps, is only going to take about 20 minutes.
Lowest downforce to the calendar. That's why they've all got thin wings.
Yeah, and it's
a very fast, and we're expecting the Red Bulls to suffer in the corners
Cars are
rather
still
than
just coming up to
the
temperature
Mercedes, and
first lap.
because Mercedes have a lot more power on the straights. But I'm thinking there's a bit of sandbagging going on, and
they were luring him
and
into false sense.
I think it will be tremendously close between, and interesting. And Dill said about the fact that what is it about the number 2 driver at Red Bull? It really affects their constructor championship, because it seems that only one side of the garage can get their act together.
Well, it's the same, isn't it? We've seen it throughout the years. Schumacher and Ferrari had it more together. Vettel and Red Bull over Webber and Red Bull.
You should be doing a 1-2 or a 1-3.
Yeah.
You know, to get the Constructors' Championship, you've got to try and get a 1-2 or a 1-3 in every race.
And they haven't been doing that. Well, yeah.
And Red Bull usually have a 1-4 or a 1-5 or a 1-6.
Exit turn 2.
Well, let's have a look. Perez, 5th in Bahrain, 11th in Emilia-Romagna, 4th in Portugal, 5th Spain, 4th Monaco, 1 Azerbaijan, but after that he was 3rd in France, 4th in Austria 1, 6th Austria 2, 16th in Silverstone, out of the race in Hungary, 19th in Belgium because of that crash he had, of course, on the way to the grid, and that Belgian race doesn't count. And he was 8th in the Netherlands as well, so he has been off the pace, whereas Verstappen has been 2-1, 2-2, 1, or he's out in Azerbaijan 18th, 1-1-1 out in Britain, 2 in Hungary, 9 in Hungary, and then 1 Belgium and Netherlands.
Because we know that Perez makes small mistakes every so often, but they usually do down to something because of the way the car is acting.
But we now
because we know what a brilliant driver he is.
So the car, though, he says is now okay. So
a reminder: handbrake turn 1, handbrake turn 1.
Speaking of the devil,
Beth noticed, like I did, that one of the vehicles that they're using this weekend is a Fiat Panda.
Ah, so yeah, and was that Michael in a Mazda? I presume it was Michael Mazda in a Fiat Panda. Synthil says as well, the red flag came out with exactly 40 minutes to go last week when Sainz crashed. That was 30 minutes to go here today, so a bit earlier, yeah. So in that same 10-minute period then.
Do you know in their small cars, Fiat were about the first people to put the engine mode different. You could have, there's a button on both their smaller models for city mode, or rural road mode, you know, so which gave you a lot more. And in the city, you could do things a lot slower and easier. And then when you got out in the country, you could press the button, and then all of a sudden the engine gave you a lot more speed, and you were able to control the car better. And they were the first to do that, and I thought it was amazing.
Copy that, copy.
Vettel again unaudible over the radio, even I can hear that coming through. As Martin Brundle is down at the Curva Alboreto, the last corner. But the Sky have got that wrong, actually. It's the Curva Alboreto Parabolica. It's the Alboreto Parabolica. What's wrong with you? What?
You and these track names have to be perfect.
Yeah, well, I've put it there. It's the Alboreto Parabolica. Can you actually see that for me, you sat? Yeah, you can. I've got the track map just below the screen.
I say, young Granville.
I can see the track names. It's the Alboreto Parabolica.
You must tell me, Granville.
I go off what Alex Jakes said in Formula
Alex
2.
Jakes, the smallest man. Even Tsunoda looks tall compared with Alex Jakes.
I've actually done I've done the measurements as well.
What a happy lad he is.
Ben Edwards, as you know, was
3 more laps.
You've been measuring other commentators.
Well, Ben Edwards was
height.
Ben Edwards was quite small as he's a racing driver. He's small as well, but he's about here on me, just at eye level. But Alex Jakes is really small. He's about chin level, so he's about Megan's height, I think. Alex Jakes. I do miss as well Rosanna Tennant, who is tall, 6'3". Alex Jakes, who's about 4'11", 5 foot max, and they used to walk up and down the paddock doing.
I miss Rosanna
Tennant
because she usually darts out the way when I'm driving.
The long and short of it.
That's a joke, by the way.
Well, Rosanna,
I like Rosanna.
It was, but I actually forgot to say, happy birthday to Rosanna Tennant from yesterday. She celebrated her birthday. She's on commentary for F1 TV.
Don't tell her age. 32.
I don't even know Rosanna's age, actually.
32, I think.
Older than that, surely.
How dare you? She's been 32 for the last 4 years.
Rosanna Tennant.
And here we go, giving away Rosanna's secrets. Anyway.
Let me know your thoughts on aero balance.
Aero balance.
Happy with aero balance.
What aero balance for a Ferrari at the moment? Look at the vibration. I'm looking at the vibration on the Ferrari there. The front wing doesn't seem to be at speed again. It seems to be moving and causing vibration. Right?
Who's that? Yeah, that's.
I thought we had
No.
been told. All the teams have been told that the wings should not vibrate like that. Look at that. Look, did you see that?
Diving up the inside, yeah, we saw the massive flex.
Oh, there we go again. And again. And again.
A bit bizarre.
How bizarre. So, Rosanna has really hidden her age, which is something that none of us are actually really bothered about. The red flag came out 40 minutes to go last week when Sainz crashed. Well, he was doing his best to be exactly on 40 minutes, but he just missed it by a few.
I cannot work out exactly how old Rosanna Tennant is.
Has Synthel got a little black book that he writes these things down in? Because he's so accurate with these things.
No, I told them to go back and have a look. I told them all to go back
and have a look.
Yeah, see what it was.
Because that's the thing about George, right?
I'll find out.
You know, George and Seb have little notebooks because they realise that Ted writes everything down and he finds it useful. And George writes everything down. Seb
does everything, yeah.
Seb writes things down about other people and
his little diary.
His little diary of how he can pass them on which side and things like that. George goes into detail. He could actually do a report on the session.
George
like he was
really
an
good.
FIA
I know, and
investigator.
He prints out.
And this will be.
Yeah, he's a computer freak. Loves his computer. When he was 10, he did a CV for himself, didn't he?
Yes.
And sent it off.
I think there's a hole in my shirt, I'm not too sure.
No, it's A Hole in My Shoe. That's the name of the song, not A Hole in My Shirt.
Something's catching on this
10 minutes to go in this irrelevant practice 2, which is just burning the engines. That's all.
And especially if you've got...
Lewis is yellow in the first 2 sectors.
Well, we know Perez has got a new engine because he took that penalty last time out at the Dutch Grand Prix. But Verstappen hasn't, and he's still on 3 and hasn't taken his engine penalty yet.
Has anybody noticed the little graphics on the left-hand side?
The speeds?
Right, no. The just to prove that Mercedes were just playing.
Hard tyres.
Right.
Oh, he's 1-2. Hamilton
1-2.
Yeah.
One on the hards, one on the softs. Right. You know, Verstappen's now
You
had
can
to
release brake,
panic
turn
and
1
go
and
out
4
thinking
to not
that
have a rear lock.
I've got to do something about this.
Yeah, Verstappen's out on the track now. He's put on a set of medium compound tyres.
And here's Vettel.
Is it really messy, or is it just me who get this impression?
I think it's messy. It is messy.
Presumably, they're on about the yes, as I say, it's the traffic that he's been put into because he's got 3 cars in front of him and more back.
Or
as
the
well.
fact that when you go down the grandstand in the VIP section, there is a footballer that looks just like Messi.
I tell you what, we'd love to tell you the driver track as we usually do, but that is the state of our
If you
driver
don't get
tracker.
this driver tracker working,
What am I supposed to do? It's fun.
I will get Megan to give you a
Did this
written warning.
Did this happen in Silverstone? The last time we had a sprint weekend.
In Silverstone.
Yeah. Did our
Silverstone.
Did our
You
driver
northern lad.
Did our driver track? No, it's Silverstone.
Silverstone.
Did our driver tracker?
It's main wearing, but we still say
Work.
Mannering.
No, did our drive? I don't think our driver tracker worked
Full
until
seal
sprint
limitation in
quali.
turn 4.
Do you know on the M11 there's a great there's a little small
Hang on,
town
hang on.
called Godman.
Yeah, copy that, Checo.
That was from Perez. and
Every
he-
time we went down the M11, you lot would go, when we got to God Manchester, you'd go, oh God, Manchester.
I think
And I
everybody.
used to turn around to you and say, oh, we must be in the wrong direction then.
Yeah, I think everybody who goes to Manchester says, "Oh God."
No, God Manchester's on the near Cambridge. It's on the between Cambridge and Peterborough on the M11.
Right. Vettel.
4-lane highway at Peterborough.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
8 lanes across. Yeah. Vettel has had his lap time deleted for track limits at the Parabolica at the exit of turn 11. Only 11 turns on this track. Rettifilio is 1 and 2. Coda Grande, turn 3. 4 and 5 is Della Roggia. 6 and 7 is Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2. 8, 9, 10 is the Ascari chicane. And 11 is the Curva Alboreto Parabolica.
I know someone, and I won't name him, and I won't give you any idea how I know him.
So that last lap was
but,
2.5 tenths faster than Lance's first lap on the same time.
They were coming back from, I think, Stansted, and they were on the M11 at 2 o'clock in the morning near Peterborough, the 4-lane highway, which is amazing, 4 lanes each side. And his wife turned around, and he was in a Williams Laguna. Do you remember those Williams Laguna Sports?
Yes.
Magnificent cars, right? The Lagunas. And he digital display. And his wife said, I think you ought to slow down. And he looked down, and he was doing 147 miles an hour.
And didn't notice.
And hadn't noticed. You know, so it scared the living daylights out of him, and he slowed down. Anyway, fastest I've ever gone with you lot in the car is 118 M62.
Just admit
I'm
it.
joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
I seem to remember the Mondeo got up to things in
Is
his
it
last
any
step.
better in free air? Or is it still
My
just-
Mondeo,
Actually,
what I
yeah.
loved about my Mondeo is
Hang on.
if a customer was being a bit...
Seems like it's recovering a bit.
Okay, understood. You have Vettel close behind.
That's
if
Schumacher gone.
You could actually, the turning circle of a Mondeo was so brilliant. If a customer was drunk and couldn't actually remember which road his was, and go, "Oh, that's my road," you could be literally halfway across and still get round.
Yeah.
The turning circle on a Mondeo is like a London taxi.
Yeah,
It's
black
brilliant.
cab, yeah. I was going to say. I miss the Mondeos. I did like that Mondeo. I like the new Mondeos actually as well, with the Aston Martin grille and the big beefy look at them as well. I didn't like the Mondeo we had, you know, the really rubbish Mondeos from like 05. Do you remember the tall ones, not like the low sleeking ones that look like that we had, the tall really rubbish ones. They were poor Mondeos. They bought them the new
Yeah,
the new Mondeo was
the
great.
present
Yeah.
Mondeo.
Yeah.
Was
Well, there isn't one,
very
is there?
lovely.
Yeah, there's-
Yeah, I know they finished it. They finished the cruise as well.
Copy box now, box.
yeah,
Chevrolet have finished the cruise.
yeah. The Mondeo finished, and
They're all
last
going
one
in
was
for
great.
these like minivans now, aren't they?
Yeah, the
I know Chevrolet
The electronic
are
ones.
actually concentrating on minivans.
well, Jaguar's got one as well. Don't like the look of them either.
Jaguar.
Well, we saw an estate version of the Cruise. We didn't think there was one.
Yeah, it looked pretty nice. It looked like an Audi estate.
I see. If I was going to have one of those, I'd have the one you had. Bigger boot, back as well. I mean, I like the one we've got. It's the same front, but the back looks a bit like it just gets cut off.
Your mum's got the hatchback version. I had the boot version, and Danny
The estate, yeah.
has got the estate.
I do like, the one you had was better. I like that one as well.
Okay, so Hamilton on a new hard, 23.5. Bottas, lap 6 on the soft, 24.1.
I did know that radio was coming.
I do still feel that Lando is lost a bit of his nerve.
Yeah, he was P3 yesterday in quali.
He's lost a bit of his nerve, and he'll come back to him.
Okay, let's a gravel skated up in front of him.
I was the same. Whenever you had a crash, you were a bit nervous to push to the limit again, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you'll push to the limit and you think, oh, that's okay. I can do it again.
I feel sorry for Carlos. He's got to go straight into a race later. I know it's a sprint race.
Carlos crashes so often that they're noticing on the chat.
Yeah, he crashed in practice 3, crashed again. Did he crash in Hungary? No, I can't remember. Let's have a look at the notes. Hungary. Finished 15th. No. Carlos was on the podium, of course, in Hungary. What am I saying? Vettel got disqualified. Sainz on the podium in Hungary.
Why does Beth call Megan Mega Spin?
Yesterday because it was qualifying, the commentator challenge.
Because it would be funny, the reason.
Because the commentator challenge aired on Friday, so yesterday, Megan at Monza, she didn't know where she was going, and she was spinning around everywhere. She was literally just doing donuts. She even took me out at one time.
Well, yeah, if you spin and do a donut and you try and pass her, she'll just smash you up.
Yeah. The commentator challenge will be aired again tomorrow in the main race build-up, as well as another replay of the race.
Please, not twice.
Yeah.
I always fast forward for that bit.
Yeah, it's just a replay.
Because it's only him and Air going, me.
Oh, that bit, yeah. Well, Megan's not in the box now for the rest of the weekend. She told me this morning she's not doing this race now. She just came in for practice, but that's it. She's done now. She won't do the sprint. She won't do the race. She will be in the MotoGP race.
Well,
however.
I have to say that she has got a lot of homework to do from her college, and also
I can't go further aggressively because it's so snappy, like I have in turn 7.
That's Sonoda saying it's hard out there on the track.
It's pocket money day tomorrow, so she'll do what she's told.
2 minutes to go in this session as well before going to the sprint qualifying later on. But yeah, so Megan's not in this race apparently. Really rubbish Mondeo, you mean all of them? No, honestly, there's a really good... The 90s Mondeo, yeah.
Do you know, the early Mondeos did have a problem though on the engine, right? Do you know it neutralises the fact that you're using the steering pump so it alters the revs.
Yeah.
Right? And there used to be a problem because the little plug onto that thing. He's getting pictures up of it, right? The little plug used to vibrate as the engine vibrated, and the wire would break.
Focus on exit.
And you would go to a local dealer.
That one.
You would go to a local dealer and say, oh, every time I turn my wheel, my engine nearly stalls because it's not regulating right. And they'd just turn around and say, I'll just go round to the music people who do the car radios and tell them. And you go, why am I doing that? You'll see. And so you go round there and they just say, oh, yeah, the regulator lead, right? And they pull the multi-plug off, snap it off, cut it off, create two create two wires, connect some speaker plugs to it, fit it in, put a bit of tape round it. You'll be all right now.
That's the Mondeo that was actually good.
Yeah.
The 1995 Mondeo.
Do you remember the
Defend 39 for stability? Defend.
Do you remember
39.
Do
you remember the early Omegas? The early Amigas. And also the Renault Lagunas did have a problem with their regulator, the little bomb-shaped thing, and it used to be fed hot air from the top of the engine, which meant that it used to get gunked up with oil.
I seem to remember yours had to go
suddenly
in for the
you would
services.
press your accelerator and you'd hardly get any movement out of it.
Yeah.
And you go, right, hang on, right, and you get out of the car, go into the boot, up the things, off the top of the air filter off, get the spray.
Yeah, the WD-40.
Well, it's not WD-40. It was actually the engine degreaser.
Oh, that was, the degreaser.
And then you'd spray it into the air cleaner, put the air cleaner back on, right? Just give about a couple millimeters of it, and then you get back in and you turn your engine and you put your foot to the floor and it'd go.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, a great big lot of blue smoke would be as this cleaning stuff went through the system, would come out the back, and you'd be perfect for another 3,000 miles.
One thing that really annoyed me, actually, a couple of weeks ago, the Chevy Cruze failed to start. Mum was trying to turn it over and over again as well. It just wasn't starting to be able to bonnet up as well. We're checking. We had to tell her, have you put fuel in it? Have you put the petrol in it? Is it thingy? And we worked out, We looked at everything in that car. We looked at the fan belt. We looked at the computer. We looked at the leads. We looked at everything. We made sure we got oil in it. And then I figured it out. Was the fact is that it was failing to start because
the petrol hadn't got through its pump.
Yes, but she'd used a mixture of the old petrol and the new cleaner petrol, and you're not supposed to do that. So
the E10 petrol.
The E10, yeah.
Yeah.
She still had some of the.
This is in lap. Keep pushing until turn 5.
And if you do own a Ford, don't use the E10 petrol without checking with your dealership, or even the online thing, saying whether or not you can, because some of the most famous names, some of the biggest cars sold in the world, Volkswagen and Ford, can't have E10 petrol.
Well, Volkswagen could probably.
They have to stay with the E5.
To be fair, Volkswagen could probably fake it.
You used to have the same thing. Used to after the engine, the setting that you have to get exactly right when you usually put a mark on it so that you can line it up again, so that the engine's ticking over as you want it.
The revs,
Not well. It's also
idle speed.
The timing. When you put a new timing chain on, and you have to put things like that. When leaded petrol went to unleaded petrol, you had to have that timing changed just slightly. Otherwise, it would stall every time you got to a corner.
Yeah. So
these governments, they don't care.
They don't tell them.
They just turn around and say to the producers, "You've got to do this. You've got to do that."
Yeah.
And if you go to the government website, it will turn around and say to you, "Look, check our website. I'm sorry, if you can't use it, don't use it." Not what's going to happen to all the thousands of vehicles that can't use it.
It's ridiculous.
Because there's going to be less and less E5 petrol available. Because most of the major things are supermarkets now, and they're going to pump they're not going to have 2 pumps of E5 and 2 pumps of E10. They're going to have 3 pumps of E10 on each thing, and maybe just 1 or 2 E5s.
Yeah, so basically,
you're going to get queues.
So just quick, because the session's
session
over.
is finished.
Hang on. So so she mixed the fuel up as well, and it created a blockage. So I said to her, she was literally going, she was just turning the engine for a few seconds, and it wasn't starting. So I looked on the line, looked on the manual, and I told her, put your foot on the accelerator and just keep turning the engine, keep it on chug over, trying to go, because it was going, and it just wasn't starting. So I told her, just hold it there for 15 seconds and the car will start with your foot on the accelerator. And the first time she did it, after an hour and a half of moaning that it wouldn't work, she tried it and it started first time.
Australia, Bev's put something on about Mondeos coming to Australia as soon as the temperature hit 40 degrees. Now, we had this problem.
Exploded, yeah.
We had this problem with both Vauxhalls, Fords, and with things. The trick there is do you know your fan that cuts in, right? It's to rip the switch off, right? Connect it up into your cockpit of your car, right? And put another switch into the cockpit near your steering wheel. And as your temperature comes up, you flick that switch, right? You flick that switch and you control the fan instead of letting the computer do it. Right? You control the fan, and then you can put it on and off as soon as it gets to things. Because you're right, Beth. You know, as the cars get older, or even, you know, some cars are not made to be used in temperatures of 40 C. You know,
Beth says there's
a lot of them rely on airflow. So you can also make the fan manually operated by a switch.
Beth says, well, there's a Shell server in Sydney that sells 100 RON as well. Normally 98 is the highest. That's a weird one.
Yeah, and you know, the thing is that you do get the situations where petrol is important, and in Formula One, it's like the biggest secret. Yeah. What your petrol supplier in people think it's all the same from all the teams.
No, it's not. It's different.
Every single team has a different supplier. From Shell to BP to, you know, and
Mobil One for the oil supply. Petronas, yeah.
Petronas not only supplied Mercedes with the petrol, but the oil as well.
Everything, yeah.
And the development that went into those things. And the FIA, that's why they take a sample to make sure it's within their regulations.
As Dad will tell you, I get the technical regulations.
And that's why...
Over Christmas, gone.
That's why Seb lost...
Yes,
because they couldn't take the example.
They couldn't take it out, so we didn't know.
The sample.
As Dad will tell you, I get the technical and sporting regulations every Christmas around about the 31st of January. It's 31st of December, so New Year's Eve. And I will spend the following week, and I will read all through the technical regulations and all the way through the sporting regulations.
Ever so quiet that week. And we're so grateful to the FIA for sending them to him.
I will go through with my highlighter and my pens as well, and I will highlight every single thing I need to go through.
Yeah, so quiet, because he's usually really noisy, as you've all realised.
So there's Sainz crashing in Hungary in FP3, here's Sainz crashing at the Dutch Grand Prix in FP3, and here's Sainz now crashing at the Italian Grand Prix in FP3 as well. Didn't he crash in Belgium, though, in FP3, I don't think, as well.
And just think, a week on Tuesday, there is a special Sky programme, Carlos Sainz, his crashes. Right? It's a 45-minute programme, and it will show every single crash Carlos Sainz has ever done.
Fab.
And
okay.
Anybody believe that? Believe anything.
So that's,
my new post...
Oh, that's
got a new text.
I will go and have a look. Yeah.
At my new post, let me know what you think.
I will go and have a look.
Okay, you go and have a look.
Right, that's it. We'll be back then for sprint qualifying at 3:15 British Summer Time. Bottas on pole for that.
Megan will be with you then.
She
otherwise
will
she
not
don't get her pocket money.
She will not. She's got things on. Right. All right, thanks. Right, we'll see you later. From all of us here, it's bye for now.